He told them they would come. He told them 1,000 times. They never listened. None of them. They just locked him up and pumped him full of drugs. Paranoid, they called him. Schizophrenic. Diagnosed at the age of 19. Committed at 21. Now, 2 years later, he's been moved to the secure facility. The so-called doctors weren't seeing the progress they had hoped for. That's what they told him anyway. He knows the truth, of course. It's because he wouldn't stop talking about them, the intruders. That's when Fritz realized if he ever wants to get out, he'll need to begin pretending. Convince them that he's fallen in line. So, he no longer swallows the pills. They check under the tongue, but he can hide them in the roof of his mouth. Then, when he's back in his room, he spits them out, flushes them. Ever since he stopped taking the medicine, he started feeling better, more clear-headed, less drowsy and confused. He's able to think straight again, to connect the dots. The intruders are on his mind constantly, but he hasn't uttered a word about them. Not to the doctors, not to the staff or the other patients, not even his poor sister, who still comes to visit every week. Recently, Fritz has begun suspecting she might be working for them, too. The way she bawls her eyes out when she sees him, it just strikes him as feigned, rehearsed, like they told her to do it, to gain his trust, so they would have an insider spying on him, hoping he'll slip up and spill the beans. But he hasn't. He's been very careful. And today's the day. He's getting transferred. He can feel it. He'll finally get back out into society. He only needs to play along a few days more. He can do that. So, Fritz, the doctor says, finally looking up from the laptop. He smiles at him across the table. The smile is obviously fake. You applied for discharge. That's right, Fritz says, nodding. I believe I'm ready, sir. Well, that's what we're here to determine, isn't it? I guess so, sir. You don't need to call me sir, Fritz. You can just call me Christian. That's my name, by the way. Yes, I read that off your badge there, Fritz says, pointing to his chest. I'll call you Christian then. Thank you, sir. I mean, Christian. The doctor, whose name isn't Christian any more than he's a real doctor, smiles again. He's wearing glasses. They seem to have no strength in the lenses. They're probably just for show. You've really changed during these past few months, haven't you, Fritz? I believe so. What caused this sudden improvement in your condition? Chalk it up to clean living and vitamin pills, Fritz says with a grin. No, seriously, it must be the medication. I guess it's finally working. You've been on the current dosage of Thorazine for the better part of a year now. We would have expected it to work sooner. Fritz isn't entirely sure whether that's a question or not. He realizes he's rubbing his thighs under the table and forces himself to stop. Yeah, well, I'm not sure why it took so long, but better late than never, right?